I want this chance to show you that your God in karate is so much nonsense. And that's quite easy to do. I know Kung Fu.
Show me. Thank you for tuning into another exciting edition of H8L Presents Fistfights and Fried Rice. I am your host, Taz, and brought with me this evening, I have a wonderful bunch of individuals that have joined me on this quest to continue our conversation in regards to pro wrestling. This is episode 22, The Underappreciated Punishment of Pro Wrestling, Part 2. Brought with me this evening, I have a gentleman who has decided to finally grace us with his presence after so many weeks away, as he is now has let us know that he is doing his part, gracing us with the sweet, sweet sounds of that baritonic voice of his. I have brought with us Mustang 2020.
You're welcome.
Also brought with me this evening, I have a man that needs no introduction. The man, the myth, the legend, the Shenron of the H8L, the man that is all things Goku, the Sensu being himself, not just because of complexion, but the Sensu being himself, Deku.
Yes, I am here.
Also brought with us this evening, rolling 15 inches deep, the destroyer of ovaries, the knee knocker himself, the Dirk Diggler of the H8L, Lobo, the Bastach himself.
I was born ready.
Yes, finally.
That's all I could ask for. That's all I could ask for.
And he even cut you off with it, which was great.
Also joining us this evening, cool as the other side of the pillow, my spirit animal, the yin to my yang, UTBABYA.
Oh, yeah, UTBABYA. Oh, yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. You know what? I'll give you a 7
that
on
you?
that. I'll give you a 7.
Yeah, bro.
That wasn't bad. And of course, rounding out our group tonight, the connoisseur of all things combat sports, the Rain Man of martial arts, the encyclopedia of punishment. I bring to you a one Justice Magnificent.
To beat a man, you gotta beat the man.
Woo! Gentlemen, picking up where we left off last week, we are discussing pro wrestling and how that not only correlates to combat sports today, yesterday, and how that will continue to correlate in the future as we know it. But tonight, we are focusing on promotions. Those that have done it well, we'll focus a little bit less on those. But those that have truly, truly, truly done it wrong. Now, last week, we left off with the UWH, the Urban Wrestling Federation, that all of us unanimously pretty much shit on, except for Deku. Now, I have promised before we ended last week's show that I would allow Deku the opportunity and the chance to give us an explanation as to why he could stand by such a product. Deku, help me understand, man. UWF? Really?
Well, for me, like I've been always saying, I love entertainment. And if anything can catch my eye and I can either laugh or if I can feel like I couldn't just turn it off or anything, I'm for it. And what I was explaining last week, we was on the name. And I can understand you guys' points, but I mean, it is in the name. That's why I wasn't really like going hard on all the name and everything and whatnot, because like I said, it's in the name.
And I respect that, and I follow along with you in regards to that. It makes perfect sense. It's in the name. The part that got me, real talk, was just the opening clip of every single one of those was a fucking drive-by or some type of fucking black-on-black crime. Like,
That's entertainment. As sad as I'm saying this, but that's funny to me. I guess I'm the only one, but I feel as like you said, almost every opening scene is some type of black on black crime or a drive by or somebody just getting jumped or whatever. That's funny to me.
but okay, when you think about organizations that have done it right, you look at your WCWs or your WWEs or whatnot. When you see their program come on, it's usually led by some type of vignette that leads into the show. And then when the opening comes on, it's clips and flashes and glimpses of the talent that you're going to potentially be seeing on that episode. You know, you might see Stone Cold hit somebody with a stunner and jump off of a fucking, ice truck and beat up Mr. McMahon, or you might see Bret Hart, put somebody in the sharpshooter. I'm really dating myself. I'm trying to think of some new motherfuckers that are out, but I'm drawing a blank right now. You might see whoever, Trish Stratus, I don't know, chick kick somebody in the face. But what you're not seeing is you're not seeing Crime Time rolling up and mugging somebody and throwing them in the trunk of a car and pulling out two gats and shooting at Shane McMahon. Like you're not seeing that.
I get it. I understand it. But I don't know. I guess that particular promotion was trying to reach a certain crowd. Hence the name Urban.
What crowd was they gonna reach?
The urban community.
Okay, who?
Huh?
Okay. So here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think I posed this last week. People that look like me and you,
Yeah.
do we even use the word urban?
No.
Yes.
That ain't for us. I don't know who they're reaching out to. But yeah. That ain't it.
So what would you if I was just to ask you, Justice, what would you name that particular promotion?
It would be in it. It's got to be something like that. Something that we use.
I'm sorry. Say that, Mustang. Say that again.
Hood Wrestling Federation.
Bam.
We don't use urban.
No, I mean some people like so T.I. put out Urban Legend. Like what was that? Was the second CD? Nah, third CD. Second CD.
Yeah.
But either way. So
But there's a record label though. There's a record.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's also him using the word urban like somewhat ironically. I thought.
Exactly.
Yeah. He also used it like Urban Legend. It was urban as in hood, and also urban because I think there was some movie that came out that said urban something. I forgot, but it was some movie, so it was kind of a play on words.
Mm-hmm.
But I think so you say urban, right? Typically when people say urban, then everyone else except for probably some of the people in the hood consider it to be the hood. And then also, I mean, they probably didn't know any better. But what I will say is that if you market it correctly, then it's more so about the marketing. I don't think the name means as much, right? So, I mean, if they put videos out there or show those vignettes as you mentioned of drive-bys or people with the bandanas on and all this other stuff, then it can be palatable for some people. But I do think that where they probably crashed is they probably overestimated the appetite for that, right? Like sit there and you think about the hood, so to speak, and how many people are going to prefer that to the WCW or WWE. It's not really many. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Wow.
Where it lost me was the 80 different interpretations of a pimp. Some of them were done correctly. Some of them were very, very wrong. Some of them that tells me that you've never seen a pimp in your life. Just because you're wearing a wife beater and a fedora does not make you a pimp.
To the people that use the urban word, that is a pimp.
But y'all, I get what y'all saying, but y'all saying what was going on in these videos and some videos that I've seen, I laughed at all this.
That's fair.
It's funny to me. That's why I said it entertained me. Like I can sit through that than watching some weak ass 80s movie. But that's not nor here nor there.
That's fair.
But
that's fair. I'll wear that.
I mean, so for me, like I think at this point, right, and tell me if anyone else who happens to be in their 30s or 40s or whatever in black, right, I consider it to be kind of insulting, honestly. right? I'm like, yo, this is what y'all think of us.
That's
Like, this is,
how I
as a
took
matter of
it.
fact, you think this is going to be entertaining to us? Like, we're so ignorant and so unrefined that you're going to put this product out here, and this is what we're going to choose to watch because we don't have the appetite for anything that's like better than this. So it's kind of insulting, honestly. Like, the people who thought of it and who put the word urban in front of it can really kiss my ass. But, I mean, that's just my thought.
See, that's the thing. That's the two sides to the coins. There's people like you that will watch a product like that and think that's just straight bullshit or garbage and very insulting. And I understand where you're coming from. That's what you guys think. That's what we all got to present. And there's people like me that will laugh at a motherfucker or a wife beater coming to the ring and beating somebody over the head with a 40. That's funny to me.
Yeah, and I think there's that, but I think there's also a third group of people who they're actually targeting, right? I think the third group of people is the people that feel that they can really relate to, or that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping for who are gang members or people who are, caught up in that lifestyle where this is what they can relate to, and it's entertaining, and it's wrestling, and all this other stuff.
See,
I think that's where
I agree with both of you. I think both of you are absolutely right. I think Mustang is right in regards to there is a certain niche for that, and I think Deku is right in regards to there being entertainment value in that. Where I fall is right in the middle. I can see the entertainment value. At the same time, I could see the negative stereotype of that, and I think that for any promotion that is going to play off the whole urban hood shit, whatever, I think you have to have a good balance, and I think that's what separates any good promotion from a shit promotion, is being able to have that balance. You look at your WCWs, they had Harlem Heat. Let's call Harlem Heat what it was. You had two swole Jack Black dudes from the city that had issues with white people. That's what Harlem Heat was. But that's not what they solely focused on. That's how they started off, and then their attention turned into capturing, the fucking tag team gold and whatever. You look at WWE, they had fucking Crime Time. That speaks for itself. They were just two dudes standing around with fucking bandanas on, playing craps and playing spades, and then going out there and beating the crap out of people.
The Harlem Heat worked so well.
It did. You had to have, you had your Harlem Heat, but then you also had your other black or mixed race tag teams that weren't about that also would appeal to people that didn't really care about the hood shit and so forth. So they had a good mix and a good balance. I used WWE for an example because, like I said, they had the whole Crime Time shit, but let's not turn a blind eye to some of that other racist shit they had. The Mexicools, where you basically had two Hispanic dudes driving to the fucking ring on riding lawnmowers with a theme song whose opening line is, "We lie, we cheat, we steal." Damn. It sounds like you are helping that plane land as we speak.
Bro, are you Mission Impossible-ing on the wing right now? What is happening?
I'm walking by something, the engine's on, and I'm just trying to get to the break room right now.
So, if you look on the actual, there should be a mute button right there beside it. You should see a mic icon.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on for a second. I'll be back, guys. Hold on.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Bam, look at that. All right, yeah. So again, like I said, there has to be a middle ground for all that shit. I get it. Some people are going to be offended by some things. Some people are going to find the humor and the enjoyment in it. And I'm okay with both. I don't really care. It's when you beat the subject over the head and that's all your product is, that's where I get kind of offended, and that's where I kind of have a problem.
I, for one, don't agree with it. And for the record, just having lived a life, hood shit it is not entertaining and it's not fun. Like that whole thing with they running outside an ambulance, two guys, and they just busting. I mean, just busting shots in like the middle of the hood somewhere. Like that's not even cool.
It's a little too
It's a little too on the nose.
Yep. I was gonna say a little too close to
Yeah, like that's they literally took real life and was like, let's not tone it down at all.
It's what it reminds me of, like when someone doesn't know what something is actually like, and they think, oh, well, this is funny because this would never happen. But then anyone who like knows is like, no, that's just exactly what I saw like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, this isn't okay. This is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew this. This is a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, to Justice's point, anyone who makes it out of the hood, then they don't want to go back, right? So
Right.
they want to distance themselves from it, and it's not sexy. And I get like, there is an appetite for it, right? There are so many people who are, going to be excited, or I'm not going to say people, there are people who are going to be excited about it. But the reason why those people were excited about it is because they're still living that life, right? And it's glorified, and because they don't see a way out, then that's what they choose to just embrace. And they're like, all right, yo, this is it. This is what life is. Like, and it's sad. So when I look at something like that, then it's saddening, right? It's saddening that there's a group of people where they can still relate to this, right? And they're trying to profit upon it. And I'm assuming, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer than that. So I'm pretty sure that organization isn't still in business. And I'm kind of happy.
It was like 9 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
They lasted. They literally lasted like 1 year. It was 2011 to 2011.
Yeah, and it's because they overestimated if you find the poorest group in the world, right? Not the poorest group in the world, but kind of in the U.S. the bottom of the population. You're like, hey, we're just going to entertain them with stuff that is brutally honest about their lives. I mean, come on, man, that's kind of messed up.
I mean, they have that. It's called hood fights.
Yeah, that's messed up too. That's ignorant as well, and there's a reason why that's not on mainstream media as well. It'll never be on ESPN.
Imagine if it were tonight at 9 o'clock. Homeless Steve takes on Toothless Mike for Battle of the Ham Sandwich.
That's terrible.
That is.
That actually sounds like a Robin Black breakdown video.
Right?
when he gets like film of like two people like just duking it out in the street who have no fucking clue what they're doing.
So
Toothless Steve beats up shirtless Dan.
Exactly.
What?
So clearly UWF is one of the many wrestling organizations that clearly did it wrong by overstating. I'm not going to say overstating their welcome, but they clearly did it wrong by overestimating the product that they had. Are you guys familiar with an organization called Wrestling Society X? I know some of you might be.
Yep.
What about you, Lobo? You ever heard of Wrestling Society X?
I've heard of it, but I'm not very familiar with it.
Okay, fair enough. Wrestling Society X was a wrestling promotion that came on MTV and all of the many MTV channels. MTV2, MTV3, MTV whatever, MTV3, Espanol, all that shit. They used to play the fuck out of Wrestling Society X. Now, it only lasted 10 episodes. And the 10th episode actually never aired for reasons completely unknown. I'm just assuming because it probably sucked shit. But, Wrestling Society X was one of the first mainstream wrestling promotions that was created and founded by former wrestlers who were not only fans of the product, had a history of the product, but wanted to do something different than what, your WWEs and your WCWs were doing. They were really trying to attempt to do something innovative by having a falls count anywhere type of system. So no matter where the match would take place, you could lose by pinfall anywhere in the building. And one of the things that they did that kind of stuck out is that they went for an aesthetic look that has been copied by a lot of organizations today. They went with more of an underground kind of bunker, kind of shitty ass looking ring. Nothing looked really too bright and polished or pretty. And they went with more high flying / hardstyle type matches. And on paper, that shit should have actually worked and should have blown up, but unfortunately it actually fucking sucked shit and actually died. Justice, what do you remember of Wrestling Society X?
Crazy moves, and just overall, it was just crazy, man. I mean, it wasn't a lot of technical aspect going on like Bret Hart or Dean Malenko or even Triple H. It was just smash weapons outside the ring. Almost like the whole ECW in a sense. Almost like the old ECW. when they was in the bingo hall. I did.
That to me is a prime example of another company that just did it wrong. You had the funding, you had the talent, but fuck, dude, you just couldn't put together a fucking product that was worth the shit. They had all the talent in the world, They just couldn't put it together. Deku, you remember Wrestling Society X?
Oh wow, I've heard that organization. Yeah, I remember watching like 2 or 3 episodes of that particular organization. It reminded me of like a very watered down ECW.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it wasn't the best of wrestling, but it was just, when it got really violent, it got violent. I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to do with that. That was on MTV.
Yeah.
It was on MTV, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were one of the first ones to hit like a mainstream channel.
Yeah. So with them, I saw like MTV was backing them, so they obviously see something or whatever. Or I guess MTV was like, the other networks are airing wrestling. Why don't we do it or whatever? We'll make some money or whatever. But it lasted 8, 9 episodes,
something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. That didn't work, obviously.
Now you brought up ECW. Let me ask you guys this: what were your thoughts on ECW? And I don't mean that WWE ECW bullshit. We will not speak of that nonsense. We will only speak of the real ECW.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam jumping off the balcony of the bingo hall on the Bam Bam Bigelow ECW. Yes,
sir.
Yeah,
that was it.
I loved it. I loved ECW, every bit of it. I know you can't do a lot of those stunts and like that anymore, but loved it.
Fuck no, you can't. you can't do none of that shit now.
Right. Like, I only think in WWE they don't even allow like face chair shots anymore.
No.
There's
nothing you could have taken from ECW that you can do now. ECW had women getting hit in the face with steel chairs and thrown through tables that were on fire.
And we loved every bit of it.
Every single second.
Damn right.
Sure did.
We every second of it. Keep our eyes off. I wish. And not only that, it introduced us to a lot of wrestlers that we didn't really know, but went on to the WWE and had some shitty roles.
Yeah. I think ECW was the closest you got to fist fights, martial arts shoot matches, and professional wrestling all in one.
Yeah.
That to me was about as closest as to Japan as you could get.
Yeah. And it was bringing a lot of Japanese guys over too.
Yeah. They were bringing cats over from not just New Japan, but they were bringing over. And you guys may remember this organization. You guys may not. This is going to tell me your wrestling knowledge. FMW, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling.
My dad used to mention that.
That's old school right there.
He didn't really go into it like that. It was always New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I remember a couple times my dad used to mention that.
FMW was fucking hardcore. That was about as hardcore as you could get outside of ECW. They were the first ones to ever utilize the barbed wire matches where they would actually take off the ropes and put barbed wire in its place and bounce motherfuckers off that shit.
Not to be involved in it, but it sounds cool.
Oh hell no, I would never be involved in that shit at all. But the shit that they were doing was just amazing. Like, they would take true to life, real deal martial artists, teach them how to fucking wrestle, and then have them not pull any of their techniques. So you would see
holy fuck.
Yeah, like you would see dudes get fucking spin kicked in the face and lose their fucking teeth.
That's the most Yakuza shit I can possibly think of.
They were doing some shit that was completely insane. FMW, I want to say till this day, still holds the record for most injuries and fatalities of any wrestling promotion.
I wonder why.
There's a it might still be on YouTube, but I'll always remember the name of it. It was a match with Mammoth Sasuke, and he was going up against Hayabusa, and Hayabusa attempted a springboard moonsault off of the fucking rope, which is one of his signature moves. And if any of you who knows what a springboard moonsault is, that's basically where you run towards the ropes, you either jump on the second or the third rope, cut a backflip, land belly down on your opponent, There you go. Get the 1, 2, 3. Mammoth Sasuke had been taking leg kick after leg kick from Hayabusa, so his leg was genuinely fucking weak and fucked up. But anyway, he went for his signature move. He hopped up on that third rope. His leg fucking gives out because of the leg kicks. And halfway during his flip, he drops straight down on top of his head, breaking his neck and paralyzing him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I shit you not, dude.
Where human life means nothing.
FMW was fucking insane, dude. And FMW would gladly boast the fact that their money came from the Yakuza.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Like, some of those matches would be so fucked up. Like, matches that they couldn't sign in, like, the fighting arenas or K1 or whatever other kind of shit. They'd be like, oh, okay, well, Justice versus Lobo, we've been trying to get that shit, sanctioned forever, but we can't get it. That's all right. We'll bring them over to FMW, and we'll have a storyline where Justice fucking kidnapped Lobo's dog, and he wants him back. But in the meantime, he's going to stab him in the back with this 4-inch shank. Not enough to kill him, but enough to give him a nice, wonderful gash so he bleeds profusely on FMW TV. Like, what the fuck?
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, they didn't care. Like, I'm reading an article. I'm reading an article right now from, I guess, back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they're like interviewing like the president or whatever. And they're like, do you feel for these wrestlers that, like, they actually, a lot of them die? And he says they knew what they was getting into when they signed up.
Yeah.
And their president at the time was saying that. I can't really pronounce his name.
Their owner, Soichi Arai, that dude, his contracts, he's right. If you signed that contract and you showed the fuck up, you knew what this was about. You knew that you might get in there with a 18-time not fucking karate knockdown champion, and that dude may just punch you in the fucking mouth because he forgot how to do a drop kick. You knew what this was. Needless to say that Soichi Arai, after admitting that he got his money from the Yakuza, he was mysteriously found in his apartment, hanging from the fucking ceiling.
Mysteriously.
Yeah, mysteriously. Some people claim he just took his own life to collect life insurance in order to pay off, a debt to the Yakuza. But that's not how suicide works, but okay.
Well, when you're trying to hang some curtains, things just happen.
Yeah. But they had some interesting matchups. I know a lot of their matches have been pulled off of YouTube for extreme violence and shit like that. But I recommend anybody, if you're looking to just be completely disgusted and completely blown away with some of the most absolutely insane full contact shit on the fucking planet, to where the wrestling was described as garbage wrestling or legit death wrestling, yeah, you should check out FMW. Look up the Weed Whacker match.
Well, no.
Yeah, there's a match where a dude gets his arms tied into the ropes, and the other guy stands there with a weed whacker, a legit weed whacker. Like, this isn't fake. It isn't like, oh, he's just pretending to have the little vinyl part of the weed whacker hit his chest. No, he's there with that shit whipping across his chest, ripping chunks and meat out of his chest into the crowd as he is screaming for bloody fucking murder.
No fucking way.
Wow, this shit's actually on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on, what's this guy's name? BLKG's versus Sozio.
Yep.
There's another one.
Dude, there's multiple weed.
There's a lot of them. Like, they take this shit off. Oh my!
Actual fuck is happening.
Oh yeah.
Like Awesome just put somebody through a table on the floor from the apron.
Yep.
Like, dude, man.
Look up John Zadig gets hit by a weed whacker.
Oh, John Danzig.
Yeah, he hits him with the weed whacker and then uses the weed whacker on him.
Yeah. This is just an example of what they meant by garbage and legit death style wrestling. Like, these dudes are getting chunks of flesh ripped out of their fucking bodies for like pennies on the dollar. And I'll give FMW their credit, even though they were truly a garbage organization, and I am amazed at how long that they were in operation. These fuckers lasted from 1989 to like 2003.
Oh, okay. I remember them now. I forgot they did that crossover with ECW.
Yep. You remember that shit?
Now I got you. Yeah, man, that
Oh my
was.
god.
Yeah, they were the first. They were one of the first Asian organizations to team
What?
up with ECW, and they put on matches that made most people fucking squeamish.
What in the? Look at his rib cage, man. He is.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
that shit's fucked. The chain, they're not chainsaw. The fucking weed whacker matches. FMW was famous for that shit. And people don't realize these aren't scars that you can just go to the hospital and they'll put 2 or 3 stitches in and they go away a week and a half later. You have this shit for life.
Yeah, that shit will rip chunks out. So wait, so what is the name of the? All I'm seeing is like CZW Cage of Death.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm finding that too.
CZW copied a lot of Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, which is FMW.
Yeah,
They copied
yeah.
a lot of their death style matches. That's actually what put CZW on the map, was basically biting their style. Is there something CZW had that FMW didn't have, and that was a means of getting their videos inside of video stores. Oh yeah, Sick Nick Mondo.
Where did we?
Yeah.
What did we find?
Yes.
What do I need to type in to see the actual one?
Type
look in the chat.
Oh well, yeah. Just put one in the chat. If you type in FMW Weed Whacker or Weed Whacker match, so I believe some of those are still on YouTube.
I just like how the sub part is very graphic.
Oh yeah. FMW was so hardcore that they would name their heavyweight championship belt the Brass Knuckles belt.
That is so fucking cool.
And they also had the World Martial Arts Heavyweight Championship title. And
So,
like I said, a lot of these were straight up fucking martial arts guys or combat sports athletes who would later learn how to wrestle. And then you had pro wrestling guys who had to learn how to take the punches and kicks of full contact martial arts fighters, so that way they weren't just getting knocked the fuck out immediately in matches.
Wait, Vader versus Shamrock.
Oh, yeah. Remember we were talking about Big Van Vader last week?
Yeah.
The originator of the MMA glove?
Yeah. Debate.
Yeah, between him and Tank Abbott. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, these are clear examples of doing it wrong. You know, you had, like I said, we had UWF perpetuating stereotypes. You know, then you have Wrestling Society X that had all the talent in the world, but just didn't know how to put together a wrestling show and just relied more on, you know, violence and gimmicks to try to get over with, you know, the masses. And then you have shit like FMW and then CZW. These organizations, as Mustang had put it earlier on, these are organizations that only appeal to a certain niche. If you want to see what it looks like to go nipple against chains, or to go nipple against Weed Whacker, look no further than some of these matches. Spoiler alert: nipple loses.
Yeah,
What nipple?
yeah. Those
Nipple.
what the matches like that aren't even really like. I mean, I don't even consider them like wrestling. Really, they're just like shock value shit. At least ECW they were doing kind of dog shit wrestling for the most part, but they were doing crazy fucking stunts.
Yes.
Like not just like hyper gory, like violent shit, but like they were doing, they're just jumping off, 20-foot fucking, they're jumping off of balconies to fucking slam people. Like they were at least making a spectacle out of the sport.
Yes.
Or if you want to call it sport, whatever. But like, but yeah, I mean, just bringing a weed whacker in the middle of the ring and just jabbing someone with it, like that's not even. I mean, it doesn't even look spectacular. It's just like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, because for every in ECW, for every Sandman original gangsters,
Mm-hmm.
Sabu, you had Lance Storm,
Yep.
Shane Douglas, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho, who actually had some skills in the ring.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying earlier on in regards to, that's the difference between a good organization and a shit organization, is you got to have that balance. You knew if Sandman walked to the ring with what he would call the Singapore cane, which is nothing more than a kendo stick, but when he would walk to that ring with that Singapore cane, you knew what kind of match it was going to be. He wasn't going to do any catch wrestling. He wasn't going to do any chain wrestling. He was going to hit you in the fucking head with that stick, Stone Cold style, grab a fucking beer, drink it, bang the beer can against his fucking head, 1, 2, 3, the end. And then you would have your Lance Storms, who would be the complete polar opposite. You were going to get the catch. You were going to get the chain wrestling. You were going to get the reversals. You were going to get a lot of mat-based style grappling. So ECW knew how to have the best of both worlds. You want to appease the Just Bleeds gods? That's fine. I got somebody for you. You want to appeal to those who really want to watch technical grappling? Cool. We got you. These other organizations? Nah, they ain't give a fuck. They didn't give a shit at all. And I think that's one of the major problems of wrestling organizations. Like we'd stated last week, what separates these organizations from the original intention of showing who was the strongest, who was the best, the carnival style versus that of sports entertainment, is how you're putting together these matches, how you're putting your organization together. I will always hold ECW in a very high regard over that of the WCWs or the WWEs of the world or the AEWs, etc., etc., etc. I will always hold them in a much higher light than everybody else, is because I dug what they did. I absolutely dug what they did. I think Paul Heyman did a great fucking job of transitioning it over from, what was it before? Eastern Championship Wrestling, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like Eastern Championship Wrestling from 92 to 94, I think. And then he took over, and from 94 to like 96, he revolutionized the way that people saw wrestling. It was amazing. Being able to combine hard style, soft style, Prosuro, Lucha Libre, hardcore, etc., etc., etc. It was great. And on top of that, these are legacies that still hold up today. He was the one that, obviously he borrowed a lot of it from Japan, but, the three-way dance matches, barbed wire matches, Ultimate Jeopardy steel cage matches, Flaming Tables match. These are matches that are still being copied today.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I really liked that ECW did, and it goes back to our original discussion and topic, is I liked how he was able to combine the martial art aspect with professional wrestling. When you look at a cat like Rob Van Dam, this dude would genuinely, legit bring his kickboxing experience into his matches and incorporated it beautifully to the point where, he had a style all his own.
Is he the one that threw that fucking, another dude was holding a chair, in front of a guy's head?
Yep.
And he fucking jumps from so when he kicked, so he jumps halfway across the ring and does, I saw him hit this flying sidekick pose as he kicked it, and I went, this dude is this guy's an athlete. This dude knows how to fucking throw some bones.
Oh yeah,
this is that's called the Van Terminator.
Yep.
That's that's a pretty impressive move there.
People forget that, or not, I shouldn't say they forget. He was one of the first ones to really embody what they were already doing over in Japan by just taking the martial art aspect and then combining it with professional wrestling. And he, in my opinion, did it beautifully. I don't know too many Americans, I'll say that. I don't know too many American wrestlers that really embodied and incorporated martial arts the way that RVD did.
Not to the point where it wasn't boring.
True. Yeah. I love that shit. People don't realize RVD is a legit martial artist. He was a trained kickboxer. I want to say it was in Battle Creek, Michigan. He had a bunch of amateur kickboxing bouts, black belt in karate, taekwondo, aikido, kendo, and I want to say I could be wrong, but he either placed first or second in a heavyweight tough man contest. And the dude's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
For what?
He is the inventor of the Van Dam lift. That is a weightlifting technique that involves performing a split between two chairs.
It's pretty cool to watch.
And doing a dumbbell lift from the floor to the waist.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that was his gimmick because he favored Jean-Claude Van Damme so much.
Yeah.
Right.
He looked like his little fucking brother.
Really does.
And he could throw that jumping, spinning, split kick like
it was nothing.
I guess like it was nothing. Like you said, he was just a damn good athlete.
He invented the split-legged moonsaw. He would jump up to the top rope, literally do a split on the fucking top rope and flip backwards. It's insane.
And he had the best frog splash.
Hey,
Yeah, I said it.
hey,
I said it.
hey. You're
I
not
said
you're
it.
not wrong. RVD had the most graceful frog splash. His was pretty. He'd get up on that top rope, he'd go airborne, and he looked like a dove taking off. Eddie Guerrero looked like he had a frog splash that would like hit you and send you straight to hell. Eddie Guerrero's frog splash looked painful. RVD's looked kind of whimsical. But RVD, the height was insane, and the distance that he would get. That fucker could hit you from ring post to ring post with a frog splash. And he's an avid pot smoker, so that makes me respect him even more. I got to beat that dude at a comic book signing once, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Because it was at the same comic book convention where I had met Taz. And like a true friend, I sacrificed my friend Adrian. Shout out to you, Adrian. I sacrificed him to take one of Van Damme's moves.
Wow.
Man.
One.
Glad it was him and not me, because that shit looked fucking brutal. And by we, I mean it was me. So you have Taz, Rhino, and RVD sitting at a table. And we're talking shit about the Taz mission, so he got to be put in that, and he acknowledged that it really hurt. RVD did like this really cool, like just jump kick, barely touched his face, but like, man, you could tell if he really put his ass into that'd have been over. Well, there's one more person sitting at this table. So, like a true friend, my buddy here thinks that the gore is a sad comparison to Goldberg's spear.
What?
And the dude was like, what? It's like, yeah, the gore fails in comparison to Goldberg's spear. And the dude was like, nah, man, if I hit you with that shit, I'll fucking change your life. I'm like, my buddy here feels that Goldberg's spear would be far worse. Now, mind you, he's not here to defend himself. So he was like, well, when your friend comes back, I'm going to hit him with it. I was like, as you should, because I think he really wants to experience it. So my buddy, he's all excited. He just got an autograph, by RVD. He's the happiest motherfucker in the world. Dude's walking back to the table. He's got a bag full of comic books. He's just happy as a pig and shit. And the impact that man took to his chest. Like, I had never seen a man get hit that hard before. You ever seen someone get hit so hard that they couldn't make a single noise?
Yep.
It was just impact. Like, he's just walking. Hey, Taz, check out these. Silence. This man got knocked out of both his tennis shoes. I've never seen that before. Both shoes were sitting flat on the ground in just normal position. They're not knocked over. They're not flipped up in the air. They're flat on the ground. That man got hit that hard. And Rhino gets up. Gore! We're high-fiving each other. Shit's amazing. Yeah. Good job, Adrian. Adrian. Adrian, it's not funny anymore, Adrian. Adrian, I'm about to walk off and leave, Adrian. Hey, come on, guy. And in the coolest RVD moment, this dude literally walks up. Yo, man. Yeah, he's hurt, bro. And just walks off.
He's hurt, bro. Man, that's fucking hilarious.
So, like a true friend, I collect his shoes. Okay. I pick up his comic books that have spilled everywhere. People are asking if he's okay. We're splashing water on him. Dude literally wakes up and then screams. He literally wakes up. We're like, are you okay? All I saw was him running at me.
Damn.
His chest hurt for like 2 weeks, and I was so honored to call Adrian my friend. Shouts out to you, Adrian, if you're listening.
Was this during like your prank month or what?
No, it was just we went to this comic convention, and we heard that a bunch of pro wrestlers were going to be there because ECW and some other organization had like some joint event, and so we went to it, and it was a great show, and we heard they're going to be at this convention, so we went to it, and my sole purpose was to see if I could get Taz to choke my friend out. That was my sole purpose for going. But yeah, man, ECW. They, in my opinion, they got it right. Even though they weren't around as long as I would have liked to have been. They got it right, in my opinion. They had memorable characters. They had memorable matches. They infused martial arts into their wrestling almost better than any organization here in the United States. They got it right. What are your thoughts on Impact? Oh, I'm sorry, TNA.
TNA grew on me. I wasn't a big fan of Jeff Jarrett in the beginning.
See, I'm glad you brought up Jeff Jarrett, because that's my segue. Is Jeff Jarrett. Oh, JEFF, JERRETT, Jeff fucking Jarrett. Say what you will about Jeff Jarrett, but that man can sell fucking ice to an Eskimo. He can sell heat to an African. This guy just has this uncanny ability to make shit work. Jeff Jarrett is the fucking Houdini of wrestling promotions. This man has this uncanny ability to make a product and make it work. As much as I hate to admit it, and believe me, I hate to admit it, Jeff Jarrett was nothing more than a fucking C. Actually, I can't even call him a B-level character. He was like a C and D-level character in fucking WWE, and somehow managed to create total nonstop action, TNA, and that shit is still going today and has lasted longer than WCW.
That's actually very true. It has lasted longer than WCW.
With far less funding.
Right.
And still managed to pull in Hulk Hogan, Hall and Nash, Sabu,
Sting.
Taz, Sting. Oh, fuck, dude. CM Punk.
Jeff Hardy.
Matt Hardy. The
Dudley Boys.
The Dudley Boys. The Rhodes Brothers, Cody and Dustin.
Uh-huh.
How? That's what I can't figure out is how.
I can tell you.
Please do.
I can. At one point, all those names that we named off, they still wanted to wrestle. WCW is gone. I guess most of them, WWE didn't really have a place for them at the time, so they still wanted to wrestle on American soil. What's the next best thing?
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I guess. But at the time, people was going to TNA.
True. I mean, Ring of Honor did bring us, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk,
yeah.
Samoa Joe.
You said Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
Yes, Samoa Joe.
He was Ring of Honor first before TNA?
Well, I'm okay. Well, okay. Okay. I mean, if you want to be okay, if you.
I swore that Samoa Joe was like the largest X Division champion ever.
Oh yeah, without even trying that motherfucker. I don't know how he made that weight limit, but But if you must know, Justice, since you called me out on it, he was actually in Ring of Honor first, I believe. I want to say he was there in 2002. I want to say he was there from like 2002 to like maybe 2004 or 2005, and then in 2005 that's when he went to TNA.
Gotcha.
And won every fucking title that TNA had, and also had a great MMA style shoot match with Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even including Kurt Angle with the TNA.
Oh shit, yeah.
Was it? Wait, hold on. Kurt Angle.
He went to TNA.
You can't say that you don't remember Kurt Angle.
No. I thought wasn't he like dating what's her name? The lady that was finding Dixie
Carter?
Yeah.
It was rumored that
there was rumors that they were they were sleeping around. I don't know about dating. It was more so like they was they was messing around, type deal.
I'm just gonna say allegedly. The word on the street is if TNA lasted as long as it did with only one financial backer because somebody was dropping some loads, but that's just word on the street. Because before Dixie Carter they had before Dixie Carter they had Dixie Carter's dad, which was Panda Energy. I just remember the stupid commercials they would have. Panda Energy for all your energy needs. They would never actually discuss what the fuck Panda Energy was. But she was funding that shit out of her fucking pocket for years. And Jeff Jarrett somehow, he knew the right things to say and the right things to do. And somehow they Acquired all this talent.
They made that shit happen, and it was like at one point, say if like the WWE will either fire or release a certain wrestler, like literally the next day or the next week,
they was making
their debut in TNA.
Yeah,
a whole promo or whatever and everything with it, like literally like C-level stars that were coming from WWE, and they just go to TNA and fucking become rock stars.
This is a horrible comparison, but I feel like it amply works. TNA, in the beginning, did exactly what Bellator used to do before they sold out. TNA, in the beginning, was all about their own talent. You would take these guys that nobody ever heard of from the regional circuit, you'd build them up into household names for the most part, and you would build a company and have this young talent carry the company on their back. That's what Bellator used to do. In the very, very beginning, Bellator didn't have a whole lot of name value, if they will, or if that's a good way to put it. They didn't have a lot of name value, but what they had is they had entertaining ass fights, because you had a roster full of individuals who were fucking starving, who were hungry as shit to put on entertaining fights. And then somewhere over the course of the years, both TNA and Bellator decided that we need more name value, so we got to bring in the Hulk Hogans or the Quentin Rampage Jacksons of the world. And there's one thing that TNA Wrestling and Bellator have in common is that they're both Eskimo brothers with Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, that was weird. Like Tito made some type of debut in TNA.
Yeah.
And it was just him just watching the chaos that was going on in the ring at the time.
And so was Ken Shamrock.
Did he wrestle? Did he wrestle? I can't even remember.
I think he was supposed to be like special enforcer referee or some shit, but that never really came to fruition.
Yeah, he just made that one scene. He just stood up on the ramp.
Yeah.
And just looked. And it was awkward. Nobody yelled. Nobody clapped. Nobody did nothing.
Because they didn't know who the fuck Tito Ortiz was. TNA, I will never forget when TNA first came out. And some of you guys remember this. Their set looked like fucking cardboard. They had two entrances, one for the heels and one for the heels and one for the faces.
Right.
And on each side of the entrance, there were bitches in cages, just dancing, just twerking and slow grinding for no reason inside of a fucking cage that served no purpose at all, other than to distract you for how bad that set looked. But they had that six-sided ring that hadn't been seen on American TV outside of AAA wrestling. That six sides of steel, that the whole hexagon shit that they were using, that was entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, it's very different too, like in the regular squared circle and shit and everything. And I wonder how hard it was for wrestlers to adjust to that.
I imagine it'd be a pain in the ass. You didn't know which fucking corner someone was going to throw you into, and you had to adjust on the fly.
Yeah. Imagine you'd get thrown into a ropes and end up being a fucking turnbuckle.
They were another organization that I thought did a really good job in regards to infusing martial arts into pro wrestling. Like I used the example of Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle, to take an Olympic-style wrestler in Kurt Angle and then having him learn MMA submissions and MMA striking, and then you have Samoa Joe, who was always billed as that MMA shoot fighter, learning more professional style wrestling holds. They put on, was it the best 2 out of 3 match or some shit like that?
Yeah.
And for what it was actually fucking entertaining.
That was one of their best matches that they had. They tore the roof down.
Yeah, they tore the roof off that fucking place. And they really did a good job of incorporating martial arts techniques with the pro wrestling. Like, that shit looked fucking brutal. They did that a lot. Like, I want to say AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett had like an MMA shoot style match as well. I just remember the promos. It was like, Jeff Jarrett MMA.
Very original.
Yeah, JJ MMA. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, they had some talent. They
did.
TNA was, and they made some names as well.
They did. A lot of people don't give TNA credit for the name value that they gave a lot of these wrestlers. Like, I'm a huge Samoa Joe fan, but let's call it what it is. If TNA didn't exist, neither would he.
That's a fair assessment. but I figure like eventually he would have ended.
No, the only reason why he even got into WWE
My take on it.
was because of AJ Styles. AJ Styles was so adamant about him signing him to a contract for WWE because he wanted to he wanted to finish their best out of 3 match that they never got to finish in TNA. But then AJ Styles ended up blowing up in WWE, which they never thought for years that AJ Styles was going to be worth a shit.
Nah, everybody thought he was gonna be a B-level wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody, Vince, Triple H. Like they say it was a couple like close, heated conversations between him and Triple H. But that's what Triple H with everybody that's gonna.
Well, you also got to think AJ Styles is a fucking Southern boy. You're not gonna get into some Southern boy's face and just boss him around.
Hell no.
That's not going to be a thing. The whole Triple H, oh yeah, I'll bury you. All right, cool, bury me. I don't give a fuck. I'll smack the shit out of you first.
Right.
But they definitely, Justice is right. They definitely made some names. Like no one knew who the fuck Mickie James was until TNA put her on. No one will ever beat Trish Stratus in my eyes. No one.
I don't know about that now. She looks terrible.
Wait, does she? Does she?
Yeah, she looks bad as hell, man.
I haven't seen your recent pictures.
Yeah, I haven't seen
her
her
recent.
recent.
Go finally.
Yeah, it's not the age. I don't know. I guess it was too much surgery.
Damn it.
My
number 2 was Gail Kim. No, fuck
really?
all of you. Gail Kim was amazing.
Really?
What do you mean, really?
That's the first.
What?
That's all I'm saying. That's the first.
Really? Gail Kim.
I never really heard it. I never really heard people say, "Oh, Gail Kim." Yeah, I've never heard of that ever.
What?
Yeah.
Gail Kim. Wow. I have nothing to believe in anymore. Wow. That's
Great.
That's soul crushing.
You know what else is soul crushing? What I'm about to say. You got the Trish Stratuses of the world. You got your, I guess, as Taz would say, Gail Kim.
Of course.
I very underrated. Doesn't get her props. Victoria.
Oh, no, I feel you. Victoria was amazing.
Attractive. She had that. She made that fierce, sexy look. I think that's what made me the look that she was always like mad, not mad, but always like not in a good mood. That was sexy to me.
You remember when she started out as one of Godfather's hoes?
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, man. I'll tell people that when the conversation gets brought up, they're like, "No way, I don't believe that shit." And I go to YouTube, sure as shit.
Yeah,
there she is.
Oh yeah, she was one of Godfather's hoes.
Would you consider Godfather's hoes like the women version of a jobber?
No, I considered Godfather's hoes an introductory into professional wrestling if you didn't have a lot of talent.
Okay.
Because outside of Victoria, none of them broads knew how to wrestle.
You're right.
Yeah, I went on ahead and put a link in the chat for all you that don't know who Gail Kim is, and you could appreciate her greatness like I do.
Yeah.
Bullshit. What do you mean?
That Asian is great.
Thank you, Lobo. UTBABYA, what are your thoughts on that image I put in the chat?
Yeah, let me take a look here.
Yeah, take a gander at that and tell me if it's just nah.
Take a gander. Okay.
I haven't looked at the picture, but it's just
all right. Here, hold on. I'm just gonna leave this in the chat just so you guys, just remember that it was a thing.
Oh my god, bro! Yeah. Fuck, I forgot about that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know who won this argument.
Yeah, George Clooney won the argument. George Clooney won.
He did. That was a thing. That was a thing.
Little known fact. Well, maybe known in fact, but Stacy Keibler was in fact an NFL cheerleader before she decided to let everyone know that she was the hottest person on earth.
Oh, even lesser known fact. Well, I shouldn't say lesser known fact, but after her cheerleading career was over, hardcore wrestling fans remember her from WCW as Ric Flair's son's valet, Miss Hancock.
Ooh, you dug deep. You dug real deep.
And Miss Hancock used to have this special talent where she would wear a business suit and a pair of glasses and distract you by gyrating.
Y'all remember when I think it was Trish Stratus where she actually showed her boobs on Monday Night Raw?
No, how did I miss this?
Yeah, you don't remember it? Okay,
No,
yeah,
that
I
was
like,
Sable. That was
Yeah,
Sable.
I remember. Yeah,
Are
that
you
was
sure it
Sable.
wasn't?
Yeah, that was Sable,
Are you
bro.
sure it wasn't Trish Stratus?
No,
That was Sable.
that was Sable. Everyone
The one
remembers.
they
Everyone
try
remembers
to block
Sable.
it off with the ropes or some shit like that.
No. What
Yeah,
it was
they did.
she had ropes. She had the robes on, and what she did is she went against everyone's orders because they were trying to tell her to tone it down because she was being too sexy. So what she did is she went out there with a robe, completely unscripted, and took that shit off. And covering her boobs was nothing more than handprints of I don't know if it was black paint or black makeup, but it was basically handprints covering her boobs.
Okay, we're talking about two different scenarios.
Then you, my friend, are going to need to let me know when Trish Stratus decided to bear it all. Hang on, let me get my bottle of Jergens ready. Hang on. There we go.
That's kind of weird. I'm talking about titties, and a man talking about titties, and you're talking about a bottle of Jergens. Like, yeah, I don't know. keep that part. But
I mean, you'll know if you hear Taz go silent, or if you see my green light in the chat doing this.
Now I know two different scenarios now because fucking they did a fucking promo about it. Like it just came out of nowhere. Like yeah, Trish Stratus shows her chest, this, that, and like and
I don't remember that at all.
They cut it off by the ropes. I guess they switched to a different camera angle, and it was just the ropes covering up. Like the boobs were there, but the nipple part, the ropes covered it.
You should find that and maybe put that in the chat.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, I got this bottle of Jergens for no reason. If you don't, I mean, that's sad. Did you guys know that Chael Sonnen was associated with Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
At one point, they was actually, let me go a little further. At one point, they were actually like really cool friends.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Jeff Jarrett, if I believe, if I'm wrong, if he wasn't in his wedding, but he was at his wedding.
I think you're right.
When Chael got married.
Yeah, Chael Sonnen and Jeff Jarrett are fucking homies to the point where Jeff Jarrett is actually the one that gave Chael Sonnen, allegedly, the idea to utilize pro wrestling promos when he starts talking. Because you notice there's a big difference between Chael Sonnen's attitude and demeanor towards fighting when he was fighting for the title over in WEC versus when he came over to UFC. And that was right around the same time where Jeff Jarrett and Chael Sonnen started becoming friends. And Jeff Jarrett had created another promotion back in the day. This was after TNA. I don't know if you guys remember this. Deku, you probably do. GFW, Global Force Wrestling. Yeah, exactly. Nobody knew what the fuck that was. I didn't know what it was either.
No, I knew what it was. I didn't watch anything, but I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah.
Was Chael in it? Was Chael like a pro wrestler at one point?
Chael was the color commentator. It was Chael Sonnen and fucking Jim Ross.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucking mind-blowing. Global Force fucking Wrestling. And these motherfuckers, like I said, I don't know what type of dirt Jeff Jarrett has on people, but somehow he gets a who's who of motherfuckers to sign on for his shit. It then got TNA to buy Global Force Wrestling, and Global Force Wrestling wasn't even a real entity.
That is amazing.
That motherfucker has a good ass lawyer, or he just knows business, or something.
Listen to this shit. So, what Jeff Jarrett did, in a nutshell, was basically back in like 2014, he created Global Force Wrestling. And what he did is he went out and he got independent wrestlers, or wrestlers who weren't, really doing anything, and he got them to sign over the rights to their names, what do you call that shit, and use of likeness and all that type of shit. And basically, he created GFW. Since he couldn't secure a television deal, he would do ballparks. Like, they would set up a wrestling ring in a fucking ballpark for baseball, and they would put on matches. And eventually, when he was able to secure enough money, he would rent like a little warehouse space, put in a ring with neon green ropes and all this other shit, get the best talent that he could, and basically would pay a TV company to film all this footage that never got released because he couldn't secure a TV deal. So there's like several hundred hours worth of GFW wrestling that never got to be aired on any type of TV. So what Jeff Jarrett did was back in like 2017, 2018, went back to TNA, the company that he founded, and convinced them to do an invasion takeover angle like the WCW, WWE shit from back in the day, to where Impact would win, and they would not only secure all of the assets from GFW, but not only in storyline, but in real life, would even take over all operations of GFW. This motherfucker conned them into buying an organization that didn't really exist in order to have content that they could never ever play because he doesn't own the rights to any of the fucking footage. But had the likes of Chael Sonnen and Jim Ross as his fucking commentators. This dude is a fucking genius.
This is a movie plot.
Yeah, but this is where it gets interesting. In 2019, Jeff Jarrett sued TNA for all of the master copies of what he called GFW Amped, GFW Locked and Loaded, GFW whatever he was naming these different TV events, because apparently when TNA bought GFW, they only bought the initials GFW. They didn't actually buy Global Force Wrestling or some trademark or some bullshit.
Right.
The only reason why he didn't win is because he couldn't supply one piece of paper that would have proved without a shadow of a doubt that TNA only purchased the letters and not the full name. So on July 30th of this year, the trial was declared the trial was declared a mistrial.
What the fuck?
Man, Jeff Jarrett's also super snake
This
shit,
motherfucker
man.
is a fucking genius. So basically, TNA paid this motherfucker. He sues them. He regains all the rights to the shit. And now, at any moment in time, he can bring GFW back however he wants to. And he has all these wrestlers' likenesses and their names that he can use. And he doesn't have to edit shit because they signed all that shit over. Bravo, sir. Bravo. Jeff Jarrett, if you're listening, I need you to make an instructional DVD in regards to how to fuck people out of royalties, because that is amazing to me. Absolutely fucking amazing. But to me, that's also a prime example of, I have to give this a twofold, as doing things wrong, but also doing things right. From a business standpoint, I can't hate on that shit. Ethically and morally, that's fucked, but whatever.
Yeah, I think what it was, they fucking, are you guys gonna shit on my wrestling? You think you guys can't do a promo? I'm about to fuck everybody's life up.
But you know what kills me, though, when I think about Jeff Jarrett? This dude has literally bit the Honky Tonk Man's whole gimmick, his whole career.
Yep.
And got away with it.
I mean, technically, somebody copied somebody along the way.
Well, I mean, of course, very few of these characters, if you will, are actually original. Now, I will pose this challenge to anybody. If you can find me anyone that Macho Man Randy Savage has copied, prove it to me.
Macho Man was an original, and
the cream rises to the top.
Dude, he might be just the best character that, like,
he made me want to do coke.
Dude, yeah, but oh my god, yeah, do not show him to anyone who is at risk.
For real.
Yeah, because you'll see him and just be like, oh, well, this is what this is? Fuck yeah.
Dude, his body mechanics, the way he will move around. Dude, I will never forget being, this has got to be like 1985 or 86 or 87. What was it? The Mega Powers? When Hogan and Superpowers, when Hogan and Macho Man fucking teamed up for the first time. I remember being a kid. Just, if you guys ever get a chance, watch that fucking promo. Just look how long it takes Macho Man to shake his fucking hand, because this dude is clearly coked out of his fucking mind. This fucking dude's like, oh, Hogan, we're gonna Mega Powers. No! Yes! When you bring the Macho Man and you bring the All-American Hogan, and Hogan's just standing with his fucking hand out like, we're gonna do this. We're We're gonna rock and roll. If you just shake my hand. You just, yeah, who can be you, man? Yeah, okay, shake the fucking shake the
that's
fucking
like
hand.
the funniest promo ever, man.
Yeah, just to see larger than life Hulk Hogan at the time standing there waiting to get his hand shook is fucking hilarious. And then when he shakes his hand, it looks like he squeezes the fuck out of it. Like, yeah, we're gonna fucking do this. And then he just walks the fuck off.
There's a promo where Macho Man goes to he flexes for the camera, and then he like you see him his arm kind of freaks out for a second, and he shakes it out for the next 30 seconds while he's trying to talk, and he's trying to play it off like nothing's happened, but he was so fucking dehydrated from all the coke and uppers that he was doing that his bicep just completely, you can see it completely cramp up, and then he just freaks out.
Dude, have you guys ever seen the cream of the crop promo?
Oh yeah, I literally watched it today.
Dude, it is so infamous because poor Mean Gene Okerlund had no idea that this dude was just going to be handing him things of non-dairy creamer.
It was so funny.
And the dude just has an endless supply of fucking creamer.
Takes it back. And you can tell he's so just free associate. He takes one and puts it in Mean Gene's pocket. After he does a magic trick, basically, where he shows him one, throws it, and then with the same hand, all of a sudden has another one.
It's there
puts
again.
It in Mean Gene's pocket, talks to him a little bit more. At the end, takes it out of his pocket, puts it on top of his own head, while he's screaming nonsense. Dude, he's my favorite character ever,
hands down.
Him, and then maybe the Ultimate Warrior for being just out of his fucking mind.
Oh yeah.
During the I mean, the promos were amazing, but it was like the writers of that movie Heavy Metal just did way too much coke and were like, yeah, let's write a promo for this dude.
I commend all these wrestlers that were taking fucking drugs in the 80s because these guys made watching wrestling worth the shit. Jake the Snake Roberts sober is not an entertaining promo guy.
Man,
I don't know. I loved his
dude. Jake the Snake Roberts on coke is amazing because he's the most darkest cerebral motherfucker on the planet.
Oh yeah,
you're right, bro.
Wallow in the muck of avarice.
Yeah.
Did you just say avarice? You know how few people know that word?
Exactly.
Watch wrestling? Are you kidding me?
And he just pulls this shit out of fucking thin air. Imagine if you're that cameraman and you're like, dude, I don't know what's gonna fucking happen. I don't know.
They probably had the best times of the world. They're probably behind that camera.
Dude, think about the Ultimate Warrior when this is a guy whose whole gimmick was being roided out of his fucking mind and just being a goddamn lunatic and a fucking animal. You bring this guy to a fucking college to talk to newly graduated kids?
Nope.
Did you guys ever see that video where dude's standing on the podium and he's like, yep, queer and don't make the world go round? What? Dude, if you... Someone got this bright idea to get the Ultimate Warrior on stage in front of a bunch of college kids who are just getting ready to graduate. Something. Just remember, queer and don't make the world go round. What? What?
He ends it. Oh my god!
And people are just like, "What the fuck,
dude?"
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Goddamn, man!
And I'm like, first off, who thought this was a good idea to get the fucking Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah,
that's a great idea. Fuck
dude,
that.
No,
that's
it's not.
Good ass idea.
Ultimate Warrior, come on, dude.
Yes.
Dude, he was
okay. Imagine I'm graduating from college. Imagine you guys graduate from college.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, you getting your degree or whatever. It's a happy time.
Mm-hmm.
You remember all the good times, the fun times in college with your buddies and shit and everything. And then they said we got a special guest.
Thank you, Lobo.
A special guest speaker, and everybody's don't know who's this guy. And then you hear the Ultimate Warrior theme. and you see this motherfucking jacked motherfucker just running through the crowd and gets up on stage and just trying to give you some good life lessons.
No, so you're
and at
picturing
the end.
you're picturing 80s Ultimate Warrior, bro. This is
I
like
mean, I would love to see that.
this is like
Yeah, I would
this is
love
like
to see
mid
that shit.
2000s middle-aged man rocking a suit, bitter and angry at the world. Ultimate Warrior.
Even better.
Lobo put
Either
the
or, but-
he put the video in the chat where he talks about it.
There's a full hour one, and then there's this one.
How long is this one?
It's like 50 seconds.
Oh, I'm gonna hit play.
This is amazing. This is just
This is rich, man. Like,
it's so weird.
Oh, here it is.
Nothing subject to moral relativity is left out between these two extremes. That the bum is as legitimate as the businessman. That homosexuals, homosexuality, don't have an orgasm on me, honey.
Holy fuck!
oh man, oh lord.
Here it comes.
Let me phrase this correctly. Let me come down off my politically correct horse. that queers are as legitimate as heterosexuals.
How are they not?
That the anarchists, because queering doesn't make the world work.
Jesus
what?
Christ, dude! Jesus!
I want to know what he was talking. Like, what was he? He said something about moral relativism. So I want to know what the hell he was talking about. Like,
Right.
What school is he at? What class was he addressing? Like, this. What? Do he?
Could you imagine?
And I think this is probably back in the '90s when I think it was okay to say. Well, I guess
this is early 2000s.
This is early 2000s, bro.
I don't know what
Yeah, this is 2003,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, well, yeah, it's still like I don't know what he,
But
like.
was it okay though in 2003?
No, well, no, I don't know what he was. I think he was saying that they're not. That it's like. I'm so confused by what happened here.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's being homophobic.
Oh, he's being homophobic.
He's being totally homophobic.
Seems like it. What I'm confused of is like he's talking about moral relativism, and then he. So I think, yeah, I don't know. The last statement obviously is that queers don't make the world work. What?
Yeah, bro. Like what?
What?
Man, peeps.
Hey, man.
If you heard that video, I don't care what you guys say. You can say what you want about us. That shit's funny as fuck. Okay, that shit is funny as hell.
Jesus, dude.
It's insane, is what it is.
No, it's funnily insane.
So the fact that his character, like that, he is just not backing down at all.
At all.
Is
Nope.
the mildly comical part because it's so ridiculous.
He's not giving a fuck. He's not backing down. Wow. This right there, prime example of when pro wrestling gets it wrong.
Man,
Yeah.
everything went right in that situation, man. I don't care what you say. That is
Holy
hilarious, man.
fuck. Oh man.
Like, future comedians need to study that clip, man. Like,
I do like that he said he thought that he was being too politically correct at first, and he goes, "Let me get down off my politically correct horse."
So, gentlemen, I want to say thank you guys for coming out this evening and joining me. Deku, Justice, Mustang, Lobo, UTBABYA, as always, greatly appreciated. Now, part 3, next week, we're going to focus more on the characters of pro wrestling.
Yes.
The characters and promos that have
Yeah.
made the sport into what it is today. Because I think you can't have these discussions without going into the fucking characters.
Oh, that's what makes or breaks everything.
yeah.
Let's remember, this is soap opera for dudes.
Be sure to listen, like, share, and subscribe for the latest episodes, news, and updates. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at fistfights.friedricepodcast or at h8l.muay thai. On Twitter, follow us at h8l_fight talk.